Hello everyone, welcome to the Anime Recap Media YouTube channel. Please like the video, subscribe to help our channel and enjoy this full video.
A man is on the phone with his daughter, who wants to meet at a restaurant. Whilst there, the man checks some reviews of his work on his phone. Suddenly, his daughter, Reika, arrives wearing a disguise. Reika's father tells her he'd like to visit her apartment later, going on to ask her to remove her disguise. Reika removes her mask, and her father's bewildered to see all the bruises on her face. Reika tells her father she fell, but he thinks her boyfriend abused her. Reika leaves, and her father makes a fool of himself. Reika's father arrives at the apartment and spots her boyfriend discussing his abuse toward her with his friends. Reika's father hesitates to confront her boyfriend and gets stopped by someone who seems to be in cahoots with Reika's boyfriend. The man beats Reika's father up and takes photos. He warns him not to inform anyone about what happened here. Reika's father visits an internet cafe and tells his wife he won't come home tonight. The next day, Reika's father tells his boss he won't head to work since he sustained injuries. Tetsuo arrives at Reika's apartment since he borrowed her spare key in the past. He wants to investigate her quarters to confirm if the man he saw was Reika's boyfriend. Tetsuo hears the man approaching and hides in the closet. Reika's boyfriend enters the apartment and tells his buddy that he plans to milk Reika for her cash and dump her. He prattles on about past victims and wants Reika's grandfather's inheritance. Someone tells Reika's boyfriend he was being followed by Tetsuo. Tetsuo tries calling Reika about the situation, but he drops his phone. Before Reika's boyfriend opens the closet door, he hears Reika's cell phone going off. While Reika's boyfriend yells on the phone, Tetsuo vows to protect his family from harm no matter the cost. At the same time, a man named Kubo arrives at the complex and isn't happy that Reika's boyfriend isn't picking up his calls. He orders one of his men, named Kyoichi, to head inside and bring him here. Tetsuo's wife arrives and enters the apartment. She sees Reika's boyfriend's dead body on the ground and Tetsuo next to it in tears. We receive a flashback of what happened between Tetsuo and Reika's boyfriend. Tetsuo had beaten Reika's boyfriend to death with an electronic device. Tetsuo's wife argues that he shouldn't panic since he probably acted in self-defense. He tells his wife they're up against the Yakuza since Reika's boyfriend may have worked under them. Tetsuo's wife suggests sweeping this murder under the rug to get people to believe it's a missing persons case. She knows she did this for Reika's sake, so she tells Tetsuo to assist her in hiding Reika's boyfriend's, Nobuto, body. Meanwhile, Kyoichi informs Kubo of the situation, and he feels something happened to Nobuto. Reika returns to her apartment, where her parents greet her, and Tetsuo breaks the news about Nobuto planning to kill her. He tells Reika to go home with her mother tonight, refusing to let her visit one of the rooms. The episode concludes with Kyoichi discovering Nobuto's dead body inside the bathtub. Episode 2 of My Home Hero begins with Reika and her mother splitting up, as Kubo tells his men to track Reika down. Meanwhile, Kyoichi encounters Tetsuo, but Tetsuo's disguised as a maid named Suzuki. Kyoichi calls Nobuto's phone and doesn't receive a callback, which worries Tetsuo. Kyoichi returns to Kubo's car and informs him about what happened. Kubo tells Kyoichi to monitor Reika, and if all else fails, they'll kidnap her. Meanwhile, Tetsuo is thankful he destroyed Nobuto's phone. His wife arrives with the items he requested and confirms she sent Reika to their home. Tetsuo plans to cook Nobuto's body by turning the bathtub into a pot. He tells his wife to return home and make Reika a meal. Tetsuo prepares to cook Nobuto's body. At the same time, Kubo visits Nobuto's father, who asks him about his son. After Tetsuo finishes his operation, he returns home. Reika asks him if it's safe to return to her apartment, but Tetsuo says no. Tetsuo's mother tells Reika she can stay here for a few days. Reika's against it but concedes. She turns on a movie and watches it. Tetsuo recalls how it has been 18 years since Reika was born and how he's grateful everyone survived this long. Tetsuo awakens from a nightmare and states how he brought back all of Nobuto's bones and flesh. Although he can dry the bones off, he must do something with his flesh. Before he departs, his wife informs him a black car has been in the same spot for a while. Tetsuo wonders if they're being monitored but wants to see how they'd react. Tetsuo tells his wife to let him know if the people in the car start following him. Tetsuo drives off and realizes he's not the one they're after. Tetsuo enters the shop to purchase some gardening tools, and whilst there some men walk toward his car, wondering if Tetsuo hid a body in the suitcase. Someone informs Kyoichi that the suitcase only has clothes, towels, and no organs. Tetsuo returns and learns someone tampered with his suitcase. Tetsuo texts his wife, telling her someone's watching him. Tetsuo returns home and informs his wife that they'll remove Nobuto's body in this room using a compost accelerator. Reika barges into the room and notices all the plant goods her parents have in their room. Her mother says they plan to start a plant garden, but Reika says it's better to have an outdoor garden. Kyoichi orders Shingo to chat with them as a property appraiser named Tanigawa. While chatting with Tetsuo and his family, Kyoichi enters the household from the back door. At the same time, something catches Kyoichi's eye, but he receives word from his allies that Shingo's in a tight spot. Shingo leaves as Tetsuo and his wife suspect he's working for the people monitoring them. They rush into their room and check to see if anything is amiss. Kyoichi happens to be hiding in their closet and listening in on their conversation. Kyoichi feels something is off about Tetsuo and his family, but reports back to his men in the car. Later, Reika takes a shower, and her mother discovers someone had a listening device installed in their outlet ports. She brings it to Tetsuo and tells her the back door was left unlocked too. Tetsuo and his wife fabricate a story about a strange stalker, while Kyoichi and his men listen in on the conversation. Tetsuo leaves in the morning and confirms they finished their mission and buried Nobuto's corpse. As he walks, he wonders if he did everything correctly and didn't leave any traces. The episode concludes with Tetsuo tasked by Kyoichi while his wife gets ambushed by a group of men. Kyoichi asks if he can make a move on Tetsuo and his wife, but Kubo doesn't accept. Later, some members of his group convince Kyoichi to go against Kubo's wishes. This leads into the cliffhanger we received from the prior episode involving Tetsuo and his wife getting knocked out. In an isolated location, Kyoichi pins Tetsuo to the ground. Tetsuo's head is covered with a mask, and Kyoichi asks him about the stalker. He knows Tetsuo made it up and punches him consistently. Tetsuo refuses to admit the lie and conjures up a story involving the fake stalker. He tells Kyoichi he didn't want to tell Reika about the stalker, so he hired a principal investigator named Suzuki to track the person down. This is the same name Tetsuo took on as the maid when Kyoichi entered that room in the prior episode. Nobuto's father Matori calls Kyoichi, so he asks his men to hold Tetsuo down. Matori tells Kyoichi that he plans to leave the organization if he doesn't see Nobuto swiftly. Kyoichi is worried because, without Matori's assistance, the organization would dissolve. Kyoichi tells his men to check Tetsuo's phone, and they find Suzuki's email address on Tetsuo's phone. Kyoichi's men ask for Suzuki's cell phone number, but Tetsuo says his company's selling point is anonymity and privacy. He tells them they only communicate through email, but a henchman confirms Tetsuo has no message history with Suzuki. Tetsuo says his contract involves deleting all messages after they communicate. Kyoichi slices Tetsuo's face with a knife, while he plans to have his men interrogate Tetsuo's wife to see if she shares the same sentiment as Tetsuo. Tetsuo begs the men to let them all go if his wife, Tosu, confirms the information. Kyoichi confirms he spent a lot of expenditures on his family, so if he comes out with no leads to Nobuto's disappearance, he'll have Tetsuo's family killed regardless of the info Tosu shares. Tetsuo realizes there was no correct answer and starts losing hope for his family. Kyoichi calls Tosu, and her story adds up with Tetsuo's. As a result, we receive a flashback of Tetsuo handing Tosu documents about their fake story about Suzuki. It appears they planned this out before getting captured by Kyoichi and his men. Kyoichi frees Tetsuo and informs him that Tosu and Reika are safe. However, he must kill Tetsuo to persuade the higher-ups. Tetsuo realizes Kyoichi is going through with this so he can survive. Tetsuo tries pleading with Kyoichi, but Kyoichi insists on killing him. Tetsuo asks Kyoichi to work with him since he has information from Reika and Suzuki and can help him locate Nobuto. The episode concludes with an intense stare-down between both gentlemen.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.